Okay, we're back here with the horse, and I'll go ahead and go through that sequence again because I just want to start from the beginning. So this whole video is probably going to be this test of Graham's nobility. It's a bit
You could mount the horse, but it would not be able
oh.
to find the cloud.
I need the bridle. So this is going to take a while because I want to
You see,
Calm.
whoops.
there's a rock.
Whoops. Didn't I thought Graham would get upon his back automatically, but apparently not. Okay, so this test that Graham has to go through is fairly
disciple of the
simple.
cloud.
It's just 3 multiple choice questions. That's
It is
it.
all right.
So it's really not that complicated, but
And find your.
I'll try to
How is it
show the different possibilities.
such are not?
So we saw all this already, so I'll just click through it.
It has not been termed
Meaning, no.
Clouds.
Thank you.
Cloud
You must
spirit.
agree, Clouds.
A howling wind.
It is not enough that you have
Right.
grown in
So we need to
body,
prove that we have
that
grown
much is
in
tested
mind and
those
soul,
who bear
and
the
that
burden of
that we
king
have
shall
the
receive with-
After a.
Behold,
that we have the nobility that is required to be king. So it's a lot like Quest for Glory 3. Many of you.
Around you a slight, but look, it is
So yeah, we're
Malvolio,
playing
your best friend.
Bat and Ball with our
Two of
friend Malvolio. So many of you have played Quest for Glory 3 and remember that test in that game where you have to show that you've attained some kind of enlightenment or whatever it is. And yeah, I don't think that's very realistic. I don't think the ball would fly that wildly.
Uh-oh, that sounds like the king now. What do we do?
What do we do? So yeah, so King Edward shows up eventually. Yeah, there he is.
You there?
Yes?
Yes?
And he's a
Which
bit
of you two boys threw that ball? The one that just happened to land on my head?
So we can do a few things here. First of all, we can choose to just sit around and do nothing.
I have asked you both a question. Silence is considered a response equal to impertinence.
But if you, I figured that if you wait a while, if you wait long enough, he'll say something else, but he doesn't seem to. He just stands there forever until you act. So we can look around.
It is Daventry's king, Edward the Benevolent. You have heard much of his kindness and compassion, and hope that this is reflected in his present mood.
And you can look at our friend here.
It is your best friend, Malvolio. The two of you grew up in the same village together, and hence have known each other all your lives.
And this is us here,
It's you, Graham.
as a child, obviously.
Carrots are a favorite vegetable of King Edward, hence his carrot patch at the rear of his castle.
And you can try to do stuff like pick a carrot.
And just what would you possibly want with a carrot? They're almost as bad as the greens your mother makes you eat.
I suppose children are too innocent to understand the various creative usages of carrots that, yeah, anyway, so,
This may not be the best of times to start a play fight. You wipe your dirty hands all over your clean clothes.
good going, Graham.
It feels great to be here with your best friend. Not so great to be in trouble, though. While you love climbing trees, you think it would not be such a good idea at present.
Edward is very patient. He just stands there waiting for a response from us.
Touching His Majesty might get you into even more trouble.
Okay, so what you have to do...
I am presently addressing the two of you. It is not good form to speak in private before a king.
Better not. King Edward is talking to you.
Okay, so what you have to do is talk to Edward. And you get 5 options here. So I'll try to describe what each of the 5 does. So, first we have what are friends for. This causes you to accuse your friend. So basically, Graham, if you choose the first option, Graham just says, "It was him, Your Majesty. He threw the ball." Or how does he put it exactly? I think. See, the thing is, King Edward asked who threw that ball. So technically, you can say, "Well, yeah, we're the one." I mean, we, Graham, threw the ball. So that's the answer to the question. But Malvolio is the one who hit the ball with the bat in such a way that it had that trajectory. So who's at fault? I don't know. Anyway, what are friends for basically says Basically, I guess it means, what are friends for if not to act as your scapegoat? What are friends for if not to take the blame to take the fall for you? So that causes Graham to accuse his friend, and then predictably Edward says it's not very noble to accuse your friends. The second option, why any sensible person would do it under the circumstances, the second option here causes you to run away. Graham just says, "Run!" and both kids just run away, and Edward's left standing there, and he says something like, kids today, what impertinence. Absolute absolution. This is just straight up lying. This one just causes Graham to say straight up, "We had nothing to do with it, Your Majesty. I don't know where that ball came from. We had nothing to do with it." Then Edward says, "I don't appreciate lying in children," or I guess not just in children. I don't know exactly what he says. I'd like to show all of these off, but the problem is you can't save and restore at arbitrary points in time between these tests, so it would take ridiculously long to show all of them, and they're not all that entertaining, so this is one thing that bothers me about games like this. I know I've complained about it before, that I can't restore at certain points when certain sequences are playing, and that really annoys me. I know somebody has pointed out that it's because some of those segments are timed to music or something like that in the game. That's fine. They can be timed to music, but I still want to be able to save and restore when I can. And I know I'm complaining about a lot of things about this game. I want to emphasize, I know I complain about stuff like that, and that's because I'm very picky. I do tend to pick on little details like that, which annoy me, but I do still like the game. A lot of people seem to have the impression that I'm not enjoying this game or that I don't like the game because I'm always complaining. No, I do like the game. I wouldn't be playing this game if I didn't like it. I do really like this game. There are just things like that that annoy me, like not being able to save and restore at certain times. Okay, and partners in crime. This is the one that I personally would choose. If you choose this, then Graham says, "We were both responsible, Your Majesty. I threw the ball and then he hit it, so we're both equally to blame." And I would say that would be the truthful answer, because that's true. Both of these kids are playing, and I mean, yeah, one threw it and one hit it, so they're both basically at fault. So I honestly would pick that as me personally, I would say that's the most truthful answer. But what you're actually supposed to pick is the last option, the sacrificial lamb, and that causes Graham to say, "It was me, Your Majesty. I'm the one who threw the ball, so you should blame me. I should take the punishment." And then Edward says, basically, "Well, it's very noble of you. It's nice that you're willing to sacrifice yourself for other people. Maybe someday you'll serve as a knight in my kingdom," which is nice in a way, but it's not. I don't really like that because it's not true. I mean, Graham's not the only one at fault. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, he threw the ball, but I think they're both equally at fault. So honestly, me personally, I would say partners in crime should be the right answer because they are both to blame. But whatever. Anyway, and you can tell which options are the correct ones because you get a point. You get 1 point for choosing the correct option, and you don't get any points for choosing a wrong option. So what should I do here? I'll choose the right options last of all, but I should probably show off some of the wrong options first. I'll choose what are friends for.
You eagerly point the finger at Malvolio. He hit the ball over the wall, after all.
It was all his fault, sire. Blame him. Punish him. Lock him away in the dungeon.
I see. Well, I am afraid I do not lock children in dungeons for simply being careless. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere. Away from here. By the way, my young fellow, it is not becoming of anyone of good character to blame others for the wrongs they may or may not have done.
Yes, sire. No, sire.
And considering that presumably you two are friends, your response was not consistent with that of true friendship. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk.
Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't mean... Except...
Behold your second test.
I think nobility doesn't mean taking responsibility for other people's wrongdoings. That's a little bit different.
You feel yourself growing older, more so than before the tests began. Again, dizziness overcomes you. Your memory of the previous test fades, and in its place, your mind is filled with the knowledge of everything that has since come to pass. This includes, unfortunately, the dreadful misfortunes which have plagued Daventry since the coming of the terrible three-headed dragon. To make things worse, your 17-year-old daughter has been demanded as its latest sacrifice. In return, it will not harm the rest of the population until the next demand. You would go forth to destroy the dragon yourself, but you no longer have the heart for such quests. Never have you felt so forlorn, so frail. You fear that given the choice, you would do anything to rectify the situation.
This is, of course, towards the end of King's Quest III. That is a very grim scene there. Oh, and this guy shows up.
A charming view. No wonder you come here so often.
He's a Cyclops.
You. I will see you hanged for this intrusion. Guards! Guards!
Calling them will do you no good. For even if they come, they will find their king speaking to only the air he breathes.
A pox on thee! Who are you?
My name, my true name, has been heard by none for an eye on a millennium. It is enough that you know me as the Father.
Then say what you have come to say and be gone.
You never were one for small talk.
You cursed my family. As a result, that dragon is now loose upon the land, and one of my children was kidnapped.
Now that is not quite the truth.
Do you deny your involvement?
Not at all. It is just that you have omitted so much.
Speak, and be gone.
Very well. I want your crown.
You cannot believe what you have just heard. This vile creature has caused untold misery throughout your land for nearly 18 years and has now infiltrated your castle just to ask that you hand over your authority to him? Of all the outrageous!
Is that what this is all about? You want to rule Daventry?
What would I want with a puny little kingdom when in a few short years I will have more power than Legitimor himself? No, I want only the thing you wear atop your head. Your crown. It is an essential part of my plan. Without it, my efforts to prepare for the ascension will have been in vain. I have waited far too long to be deterred from it now.
If you need it that badly, you could have just taken it. You had plenty of opportunities.
Are you completely ignorant of the legends of your predecessors? None can possess the crown of the first king unless it's given.
If you think for one moment that I would...
Before you speak further, consider this. In exchange for what I ask, I shall lift my curse and all that it entails from you and your blighted land. You shall have both it and your family restored in full. Minus your title, naturally.
Your mind reels at these words. For almost 2 decades, a countless number of innocent people have suffered under the afflictions Daventry has had to endure. So many more people would continue to suffer indefinitely, notwithstanding the pain you feel over your own family's misfortune. With a simple statement, you could put an end to it all.
So this is our second test, and this is a bit more morally ambiguous in my opinion. Let's see, does the guy say anything when, if we just sit here and don't do anything, does he... I guess he doesn't say anything else. Actually, I don't know who this guy is. This guy was added to this game, obviously, for this remake, and I don't know the story behind him or what he wants or what he has to do with what's going on here, but anyway...
The shrouded figure standing before you is the man responsible for all of Daventry's present troubles.
I presume we'll find out more about that later in the game, but anyway,
Now ripped to shreds, this once proud banner is an atrocious sight. Your kingdom lies below, once a marvel to all who beheld it. There is now very little to speak of. Evidence of devastation and disrepair stretches with nauseating abundance in all directions.
Yeah. Amusingly enough, let's see, did we check our inventory?
You are carrying nothing.
We have nothing. If you try to click the hand on this guy...
You dive forward, swinging your fist at the man to hit him. To your astonishment, your hand passes right through his face.
Did you think I would be so foolish as to come unprepared this time? I learned my lesson well.
Yeah, so...
There's no point in trying to hit the man again. He's obviously protected by a powerful spell.
Yeah, so once again, you have to talk to him, and you have you have to make one of 5 choices. So, unconditional acceptance is basically just, Graham just gives his crown over. He says, okay, take my crown, you're the new king, do what you want. And the guy in the black cloak says, you have made the right decision, and that's the end of that. Provisional acceptance actually paradoxically seems a bit worse in its outcome, because provisional acceptance, if you choose that, Graham says, I will give you my crown on the condition that you look after my kingdom and its people. So basically, if you will treat this kingdom with respect, then I will give over my crown. And then the guy in the black cloak says, oh yes, of course, I'll treat your people well. But then he breaks his promise. As soon as he takes your crown, he basically says, well, that is if I had time to do so, which I don't, and then he basically causes you to disappear. So that's obviously a bad thing, because if you choose provisional acceptance, you see him very obviously become evil and break whatever promise he made to you. But if you choose unconditional acceptance, then he just says you've made the right decision, and then that's the end. But neither of these are actually the right decision. Severing the lifeline basically causes Graham to say, I will not make you king, even if it means I get my family back. And the guy in the black cloak says, then, are you really willing to sacrifice your whole family for the sake of the kingdom? And Graham says, yes, I will. Even my family. I'm not going to betray my kingdom for the sake of my family. So, number 4, pride cometh before all else. This is basically the same thing. 3 and 4 basically have the same effect in that Graham says, no, I won't give you my crown. Excuse me, sorry. Both of them result in Graham saying, no, I won't give you my crown, but his reasoning is different. If you choose this, then he says, basically, well, I like being the ruler. I want to remain ruler of Daventry, and I'm not going to give up the power that I have from that. So it's kind of a proud answer. Instead of a noble defiance, it's like a proud saying, well, no, I want to remain king. And then final act of defiance is, it's a little funny and a little sad. Graham actually just commits suicide. He literally just jumps out the window and commits suicide. And then the guy in the black cloak says, what a shame. I guess he considered that noble. Let me see. What should I pick here? I'll go ahead and pick that one just because I think it's kind of it's a little sad, but also a little bit amusing in its own way.
You shall never have the crown, and I shall make sure it will never be of any use to you. I would rather die than to risk it falling into your hands.
Such a foolish sacrifice. I suppose he thought of it as noble.
It is a good thing you cannot actually die during these tests. Quite convenient, really.
Behold your third test.
Once again, you feel yourself age. You are many years older now, though still, thankfully, King of Daventry. As before, the knowledge of the previous test ebbs from your mind. This time, however, it is filled with a greater knowledge of all that has come to pass thus far. Many years have passed. Your children, once heirs to your throne, have forged their own paths in other kingdoms. Fortunately, chance has seen fit to fill the vacuum. Following the restoration of the Mask of Eternity, Daventry now has a new champion.
How do you feel?
This is
I am deeply honored, sire.
All right. Now, how do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You smile and feel the lines in your face stretch. You hope you'll get used to it when the true time comes.
You know what they've been saying about my decision, that is.
The people question my ability to perform the duties when I have another higher obligation. I believe that I can attend to both with the utmost equity.
You do not deny that this obligation may arise at any moment. Perhaps taking you away from this country at a time of great need?
Of course not, sire. But I shall deal with that troll, as they say, when I cross that bridge.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That does not sit comfortably with some of the nobles.
The qualities of truth, right, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
You cannot help but smirk. For a man who had once lived as a peasant, he speaks extremely well.
Yeah, so the guy is... I mean, the guy talks a good line, I have to admit, but I'm not really sure... Well, we'll see the decision that we have to make in a moment. Yeah, so first of all, let me just point out, I like the puns. Get it? Not tonight, and it's nighttime. Yeah, a bit silly, but okay. So yeah, so it's a very simple binary decision. You knight this guy and anoint him as a knight of Daventry, or you choose not to. So if you choose not to knight, then Graham says you're a noble man, you're a very brave and noble guy, but I can't knight someone who has not yet fully prepared to take on the responsibility of the position, or something like that. And then Graham says, go home, go back to your farm. And the guy is, the guy accepts it. He doesn't get upset. He doesn't try to kill Graham or anything, but he's visibly upset, and he says, yes, sir, I'll go then. So, I actually don't know what's the right option here, because you get 1 point for both of these options. So maybe it's kind of a freebie. Maybe just both of them are okay. I don't know. It doesn't seem to make any difference, because if you choose the right options for the first two questions, then it seems like you can choose either of these and still pass the test. But since I already gave the wrong answer for the other two, I think it doesn't really matter. I'll just go ahead and choose not to knight, and then next time I'll knight him.
I have carefully thought over the matter put before me. It is true that I no longer have a residing heir to carry on in my place. However, I cannot place the future of this kingdom in the hands of one who, while possessing great skills, courage, and virtues, may not be able to serve her with singular devotion. Go back to your village, Connor.
Yes, sire.
Despite his gracious acceptance, you sense that Connor has been dealt a rather severe moral blow.
This is the guy from Mask of Eternity, isn't he? I feel like, because there was a reference to the Mask of Eternity at the beginning of this segment. Okay, and we're back here with the horse.
You find yourself standing before the Cloud Spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated that you have not yet grasped the basic understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. In most souls, growth continues unabated. In you, however, it has been arrested. As a result, you have not grown as a living thing should. You are judged unworthy of the heir and growth gem.
In the last fleeting moments of your life, you wonder whether you could have made some better choices.
So, I'm not a very good judge of character myself, perhaps, but this Cloud Spirit, if he has understanding of nobility, maybe he would recognize that killing us might not be the best response to us making bad decisions. Maybe he would recognize that we could learn and still have a chance to become better people if in fact our judgment is not the best. But instead his solution is apparently, well, if you made the wrong choices, you can just fall to your death. That's okay. That's the best thing to do here. So I think the Cloud Spirit might be the one who is a little bit questionable in his character there. I also like how the horse suddenly starts flying. Like the cloud disappears and the horse, you notice he suddenly starts flying when you die, because he's not gonna. I mean, he's just gonna hover there and just watch us fall down. He's not gonna try to save us at that point. Okay. Anyway. So let's go ahead and come back here, and yeah. So we're here. So do I want to show off? I showed what are friends for. This one really doesn't show anything. It literally just, Graham literally just says, run! And they just run away, and that's it. So, absolute absolution, it's really just, like I said, it's just, he just lies and says we had nothing to do with it. I'll go ahead and, I'll first choose this, Partners in Crime, because like I said, I really think this is the, what I would pick as the best option. So I just want to show why I think it's the best option.
We both did it, Your Majesty. We're both at fault and deserve the same punishment.
You cast a quick glance at your friend, who just nods sullenly and avoids your gaze.
I see. Well, I do not punish for such trivial occurrences, particularly unintended ones. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere. Away from here.
Yes, sire.
Yeah, see, that's...
Behold your second test.
That seems reasonable to me. Okay, we'll get back to that later. I'll make the right choice next time, but here we come back to this, so okay, I can click through all this. See, I can't restore my game. That's annoying. I want to restore my game and just go back and do the first test over and then come back here and... Okay, anyway,
You can't my you not very you can if you before you're so
alright, what else do I let's see, so provisional acceptance is as I described. It's pretty much what you'd expect. Graham hands over his crown and right away the guy becomes traitorous and says and he basically breaks his promise. I'll show you what unconditional acceptance is because it really is very morally ambiguous. Let's take a look at this.
You willingly give the father your crown and the title that goes with it. You wonder what Edward would say if he saw you now. You imagine he would not be pleased.
Thank you. You have made the right decision. Now, I shall send you on your way. Your family is waiting for you. One of them is a tad cold. Been ascending Daventry's peaks, I believe.
That would be obviously Gwydion, who's been climbing the mountains at the end of King's Quest III.
Behold your third test.
Alright, and I really can't restore...
Once again, as
How do you feel?
I am deeply honored.
And I can't
sire.
even skip through this part
All right.
here.
Now, how do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
You know.
This is annoying.
And there is the matter of you not being of royal birth. That
Why
does
can I
not
skip
sit
some of these but
comfortably
not
with some of
others?
the
That's so
nobles.
bizarre. Some of these I can click
The
through,
qualities of truth,
but-
right, and order can shine from even the most impoverished of souls. Nobility is defined through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
you cannot.
Okay. Anyway, I don't think... can I restore when I get to the decision point, or... No, I think at this point I can't even save before the decision. Yeah, come on, man. Okay, I'll choose not tonight again because I'm gonna make the... I'm gonna finally choose the night... I think nighttime is supposed to be the right choice, even though, like I said, you get a point for either choice, so maybe it doesn't really matter.
I have carefully thought over the matter.
Come on, let me skip this.
It is
We already
true that
saw this.
no
I just want to
longer
restore my
have a
game
residing
and start the
heir
trials
to carry
over.
on in my place. However, I cannot place the future
Oh,
of
this is ridiculous.
kingdom in the hands of one who, while possessing great skills, courage, and virtues, may not be able to serve her with singular devotion. Go back to your village, Connor.
Yes, sire.
Despite his gracious acceptance, you sense that Connor has been dealt a rather severe moral blow.
See, I don't mind what they did with I don't mind what they did with this game, but it just annoys me stuff like that you can't. I mean, one of my pet peeves is not being able to save and restore the game at arbitrary points in games like this.
In an instant,
See, and the horse pulls up his legs because he starts flying. Okay, anyway.
fleeting moment.
Alright, let's go ahead and do this properly. So, you've seen Partners in Crime and you've seen What Are Friends For. I'll choose the Sacrificial Lamb and note how we get a point for it, so that's kind of the dead giveaway that it's the right answer, but you'll see why I think it's not really the right one.
You summon all your courage and speak up.
Your Majesty, if you please, it was I who hit the ball over the castle wall. It was my fault completely. Please do not punish my friend.
The king eyes you carefully. You wonder if you are now in serious trouble.
I would not punish one for something so trivial. However, I will see you play your game elsewhere, away from here.
Yes, sire.
One more thing, my young fellow. You have demonstrated good character today by taking the blame for your friend. The finest knights in this realm demonstrate their compassion by protecting others, even if that should mean putting themselves at risk. I find that to be a rare quality in the many I meet. When you have grown up, I hope to see you again, perhaps in my service.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
See, I don't agree with that because...
Behold your second test.
Because Graham did lie. I mean, he basically lied and said, I'm completely at fault. And you can say that it's noble. I mean, there is a certain nobility to it, but being a good person doesn't mean taking responsibility for other people's negligence. And in a way, you can say, well, it is lying. I mean, he did lie because Graham said, I'm completely at fault, which is not true. They're really both, honestly, I think they're both at fault. You could even say... Because Edward did say that maybe you'll be in my service someday. You could even see it as Graham sort of sucking up to the king and showing off to the king and showing off what a good person he is in hopes of being rewarded for it. Well, I know that wasn't the case. Graham didn't actually think he would get rewarded for his honesty, but still, you could sort of see it that way. I don't know. Anyway, I'll save here just in case, even though I don't really have to, but whatever. Second test save. So like I said, unconditional acceptance, it seems almost like maybe it might be a good thing if you choose that, because the guy just says, you made the right decision, I'll take you to your family now. And you think, well, maybe it won't be so bad, maybe we made the right decision, but no. And here again, we just heard that being a noble knight means sacrificing yourself for others. So, see, that's the thing. What's more important, your family or your country? This is kind of, I think for most people, this is... for most people, family comes first. I guess it's different if you're a king. Maybe if you're a king, you're expected to put your country before your family, so maybe it's a special case. I don't know, but I think most people would agree they would not sacrifice their family, their own family, for the sake of their country. But maybe since we're a king, it's different. I don't know. Anyway, severing the lifeline is what you're supposed to pick, and again, you'll see that because you'll get a point for it. So, or we'll get a point for it.
To give you my crown would signify a change of leadership. So says the law of this land. It also says that the crown is to be worn only by those with the highest regard and intent for Daventry. So, to give it to such a vile being as you would betray the honor and memory of all the past kings who have worn it. No, I will not do it.
Not even for the sake of your family?
There are some principles for which even one's family must be sacrificed.
The man appraises you as a scientist would a unique specimen.
What an intriguing set of morals you have, King Graham. I almost look forward to the time when you will put aside your obligations here and seek me out. I have foreseen that we shall meet again.
Behold your third test.
Okay. We're gonna have to do this again because, well,
How do you feel?
You'll see when we
honored, sire.
when we
All
get
right.
there.
Now, how do you really feel?
Scared out of my wits, sire.
And there is the matter of you.
See,
not
I could
being
just skip
a
through
royal
like
birth.
4 lines of dialogue. I was
Rather
just able to
not
skip
sit
through 4
comfortably
screens
with
of
some of the
dialogue,
nobles.
but all of a sudden this one I'm stuck on, and I have to wait for them to finish their talking about whatever they're talking about here. I mean, that's just kind of
Nobility is defined
that's
through
just
one's
kind
actions,
of
not one's
silly.
lineage, Your Majesty.
You cannot...
Anyway, so Graham goes up onto his throne. Connor stands before him, and look what we have now. By the way, I like how the magic mirror seems to have a face in it now. It's not just a flat mirror. There's really like two eyes and like a nose or a mouth there peering out at it. It looks a little sinister, actually. But yeah, if you choose the correct options for the first two tests, you get this third option here, The Madness of King Graham. And this is not a correct option. This is not a correct answer, but it's too good not to choose it. I just have to show this off. So I'll go ahead and show off what is The Madness of King Graham.
I have decided, after long and careful consideration, that in order to earn your knighthood, thou must venture forth on a quest to capture and kill the most insidious and elusive of preys.
What is this prey? A dragon?
No. More wretched than that.
A tri-horned scaled beast of the southern plains?
No. More woeful still.
Surely not the scourge of the low mountains? The flesh-burrowing scorpion?
No. But it does get under your skin all the same.
Then pray tell, of what do I seek?
Oh, sorry I'm late, Graham. I hope I haven't missed anything.
That!
The talking owl?
Precisely! Charge!
Graham! Graham! Oh!
Okay, that was not the right decision, but I think you can get away with that.
In an instant,
Yeah.
you find yourself standing before the cloud spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated some understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things.
Except you if you pick the wrong
While
answer.
You still have much to learn. You will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Heir and Growth Gem.
Can I just say, I think that looks a bit ridiculous. He looks like some kind of... I don't even know how to describe that. It's like some kind of manga character with their mouth open like... "Oh, kawaii, sugoi." Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and... yeah, come back here. So I'll go ahead and tell this guy, yeah, severing the lifeline is what we're supposed to choose. And then here comes the third test again.
How do you feel?
I am deeply honored, sire.
All right. Now, how do
I don't
you
know why
really
people pick
feel?
on Cedric so much. I think I've said before in a previous Let's Play, I actually quite like Cedric. People dislike Cedric because of his voice, because the voice actor for Cedric made him sound so annoying. But Cedric is actually quite reasonable. I was always fond of Cedric, and I don't know why everybody hates Cedric so much. I think that's quite unfair.
Through one's actions, not one's lineage, Your Majesty.
You can...
Quite unfair to make an Easter egg where they pick on Cedric once again. There's already been too much abuse against Cedric in the fandom. I mean, it's okay to not like Cedric, but you don't have to. Okay, anyway, so yeah, like I said, I think you can choose either of these first two. I'll go ahead and choose nighttime. Let's make Connor a knight.
Kneel. Your sword.
Looks more like Connor's in a position to serve as Graham's sword.
By virtue of your bravery, loyalty, and good conscience, I have chosen you to be my first knight. Thus you are my successor and heir to this throne. Arise, Sir Connor of Daventry.
In an instant, you find yourself standing before the cloud spirit once more. You also notice that it is starting to get dark.
You have demonstrated your sound understanding of compassion, honor, and loyalty. These attributes transcend the mind and speak of the soul within you. Growth continues unabated throughout the lives of all living things. You have grown much, learnt a great deal, and will continue to grow in all ways. You are judged worthy of the Heir and Growth Gem.
Alright, let's go ahead and just quickly save here. And
a green gem similar to your birth gem has appeared in the center of this cloud.
Maybe it's just some spinach stuck in the teeth of this cloud spirit.
You take the growth gem. As you feel the knowledge of the last test fade from your mind, the cloud beneath your feet begins to evaporate. You'd better get out of here quickly, Graham.
Uh-oh. What do I do? Do I ride the horse again? Apparently so.
Finally, your flight comes to an end. You hope that it will be quite a while before you take to the air again.
I guess Graham's not going to be buying a Cessna 172 anytime soon.
Where would you like me to land?
On the ground would be fine.
You want to be specific now, do you?
Take this sugar cube. It will protect against the poisonous growth of this land.
A poisonous
Fare
snake.
thee well.
Graham, watch out. A poisonous snake.
You notice you have lost a few things during your descent. Mostly all that paper you were carrying. You are not concerned, though, as long as you don't get into trouble for littering. As dusk sets in and the pallid moon rises above the darkened horizon, you recall the Door of Destiny's words regarding the third gem, through swampy mire, in lone dark castle. Then you remember the great Neptune's disquiet reluctance to speak of Kalima's lord. You sense a growing unease that this final gem may not be the easiest to acquire.
Okay, which probably means it'll be the hardest to acquire. Okay, well, let's go ahead and I'll just save here, and we can be done with it. This video already went twice as long as I intended it to go on for. It's just, I knew these trials would take forever, but and I didn't even show all the options. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of annoying when you can't restore in the middle of a cutscene like that. Although I guess most of the time was spent either with me talking or with us seeing new things, so I guess we didn't really waste that much time. But anyway. This has been the Trials of King Graham, the passion of the Graham with his horse and his sugar cube. His horse named Sean Connery. So, in the next video, it's nighttime now. We'll see how this land looks at night, and I guess start trying to get that third and final gem. So, I will talk to you then, folks. Thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye-bye for now.